Hello, 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 ladies. As many of you know, I am Joy, your host. I am your love and dating strategist. So today I'm here to talk to you more specifically about being ghosted. So I'm hearing many women who are talking about being ghosted. I mean, it seems to be happening regularly. It seems to be like a regular occurrence, something that people are using as a way to back out of situations that they don't want to be in. Personally, as a strategist, I say that's not cool. I say act in integrity and be straightforward. And while I speak to women all day long and they are my focus and where my heart and soul is, because I am a woman, there are women out there who've admitted that they've done it. Some of them say they're just too busy. So if once they become busy, they decide that, you know what, I don't owe anybody an explanation. So you know what, adios, amigos, goodbye. I personally disagree with that. And the reason why I can't stop anybody from doing anything that they want to do for themselves, but the reason why I disagree with that philosophy, even as a woman, is because the truth is this. When you like a man, it doesn't matter how busy you are, you're going to find some form of time for him, right? So I know that it can't necessarily be true that she's so busy, right? Because if there's a guy who likes you and you express that to him and he's really into you, he'll understand that and he's going to work according to what suits your schedule or what makes sense for two of you. But the other reason why I can't buy into that, from the woman, from the female perspective, is because karmically, that's horrible for you in dating. You're meeting men and you're going around and you're ghosting them, or you're saying you're too busy and then you start to make yourself very unavailable. What do you think is going to happen to you when you're ready to meet Mr. Right? We need to understand that it's not a one-way street. We have this tendency to believe that that men should be nice to us. I'm a woman. Again, I agree. But again, in life, what goes around comes around. And I've been noticing a lot of scenarios of that where I've been seeing it in life and business, in my husband's business, seeing people, other businesses or people he does business with do something, and I see it come right back to bite them. And then they call him and they tell him, and I'm thinking, you just did the wrong thing. Now you're calling him and you're telling him, and I can see these things a lot of times before they happen. So I've been saying to my husband, listen, something's going on there. Something is not right. I can promise you that. Right? And then it's probably a matter of maybe 4 weeks and then it bounces back. And I say, see, there you go. Right? I saw this before it happened. So what I'm saying is don't put yourself in a scenario for it to come back to bite you. At least if you're getting to know someone and you don't have interest, you can be upfront. You can be nice about it. You can say, you know what? Thanks for the date. But unfortunately, I'm not there or I'm not interested. So anyway, I wish you well. Moving forward on your dating endeavors, take care of yourself. That's it. You don't really owe anybody an explanation, but at least let them know you don't want to see them anymore. But you're running, avoiding. One day they may find you, catch up to you. So just don't do it. Honestly, that's what I think. Just don't do it. But anyway, as we get more into ghosting, I had talked throughout the week on posts about why men, ghost women. A lot of times it's that I really believe that it boils down to, at the end of the day, no interest, or he got what he wanted during the time he knew and he no longer has an interest. I really don't think it has a lot to do with you as a person, because you are who you are. If he doesn't like you, that's fine. But yes, will a lot of people mess with you anyway? Yes, they will. But my thing is this, you gotta tune in and pay attention. Everything around us is energy, and that's one of the things that I really teach women is to focus on that. Once you tune in, you will already have the answers. But many people, as I was saying, in conversation with someone last night, that we have a tendency to miss the cues or dismiss the cues, right? We have a tendency to just not see them completely, or don't know how to read them, or we just, well, I like him, so you're just going to ignore it. But it was all there before. You don't think that things just happen out of thin air, right? A lot of times we just have a tendency to not see them or not want to see them. Therefore, we miss them. But if we tune in, we will have everything we need. You'll know that somebody's going to ghost you before they do it. I can promise you, you can get a sense of that. So I'm just going to go over those things with you just for a bit, just so you can have an idea of, just so you can know better. when those types of things are coming. So even before you go on a date, right, you can plan certain things. You don't have to wait till you're on the date in order to prepare for this. Before going on a date, be very intentional. What do I want? What am I looking for? What do I expect to see? People make mistakes, things happen, so you're not judging a person fully on exactly what they do on that date. But remember, that date is essentially the time that they're giving you their best self, right? So if you notice that things are going down a certain way, that is a clue in and of itself. So like I said, be prepared, be intentional, know what you want before you go on the date, prepare and plan. This is not just about dressing nice and making yourself look pretty, but this really is about knowing what you want and setting the intention before you get there. So I want you to consider some of these as you approach a date. So now you're on the date with this gentleman, right? And for yourself, I want you, when you're out there, be warm. It doesn't matter whether you like the person or not. Again, just think karmically how these things can come back to you. Be warm, smile, engage them. I mean, if you're not feeling him, I would probably won't hug somebody that I'm not feeling, but people hug people for business and all that every day long, all day long. So just appear warm, smile, be excited about the day, engage him, have good energy, just be there, but be, just warm in your invitation, or be warm in your engagement of him in that moment. Let him feel that he can relax and be at ease. As much as we struggle with that, men struggle with that too. As confident as they are, they want to see that from you. So it's not that he requires it, but it gives him information about who you are as a woman, okay? So that's one. So number two, he wants to know that you're interested in getting to know him. I noticed that a lot of women don't do this. And maybe you do, which is great, but a lot of women, we expect a man to want to take the time and effort to really get to know us, but how are we demonstrating that we really want to get to know them? I actually think that's more important than him really getting to know us in that moment, because the more we get to know about him, the more we can decide if we want to continue to get to know him. So I think that in itself is extremely important. And so, asking questions, really get a feel for who this person is, right? That's very, very important to you continuing to invest time. And what are we saying a lot of times these days, myself included? I don't want to waste time. So if you don't want to waste time, take those opportunities, get to know him and see if he's what you're looking for. If he's not, you can let him know that at the end of the day, great, it was nice hanging out with you, but I don't think we're a fit. Adios and goodbye, right? So number three, keep your body language open. You don't have to invite him in, so to speak, but, be relaxed, be open, let him know that, you're cool. You don't have to be tense, or unless you fear for your life or something like that. You want to just show that, you're there, you're easy, you're open, right? And you're willing to engage in this date, right? Once we start acting very close, that's what we get in response, right? And a lot of times we have a tendency to be very outward directed. So we see what's out there, but we don't see ourselves. We're in the frame, so we miss those aspects of ourselves. But that's something that you want to generally do anyway in life. As I go out on the street and I meet people, and and I go out there and I still meet men all the time, I try to be open, friendly, I smile, I engage. They know they can approach me at any time, and then once they approach me, let them know I'm not available. But the point is, leave yourself open, especially as a single woman. If you're looking to meet someone, if we're walking around, if we have a tendency to stay in, I don't know if I would want to say low vibe, or we stay in a state where we're so used to being closed off and not smiling and not connecting and not engaging, that even at that time when you would have liked to, it becomes so natural that it becomes harder to do it. So you want to stay in a state of openness, a state of smiling, feeling like you're engaging the world. Another bad thing that we have a tendency to do is be out and be on our cell phones. Especially if you want to meet somebody. Look around, see the world. When you're out there shopping or doing whatever, you don't want to be on social media on your phone. There's a time and place for that, maybe more at home or when you're in your vehicle or whatever. But when you're out and let's say you're shopping or you're out, let's say ordering food, you keep yourself open, because you don't know who you'll meet. You can meet Mr. Right, Mr. Perfect at any moment, but because you're so busy on your phone or doing something else, you miss him and he misses you. So keep in mind that as much as you want him to look out for you, you want to look out for him, and you want to know, let him know, listen, while I don't believe a woman has to say anything, she leaves herself very open, and that guy is single, and he finds her attractive and you are open enough, he'll know that, and then he will, if he's that type of guy, he'll approach you, and if he doesn't, well, I say leave him alone, adios and goodbye, amigos, and on to the next, right? That's my point of view on that. So those are my 3 points for what you can do to prepare, or what you can do on a date to minimize the effects of ghosting. Men want to know that a woman is showing interest in him, or that she's engaged, or that she actually likes him, and that she wants to know him a little bit more. So that makes him feel a little bit, more included, more wanted, that sort of thing. Yeah, men are like, they can be like boys like that. They need that too. And listen, as a woman, I know that, forget about boys and girls, but as a woman, I want to feel loved. I want to feel wanted. I want to know that you're taking your time to invest in me here as well, because you want to get to know me. So now I want to talk about the 3 things that you can do after a date to minimize the effects of ghosting. Now, keep in mind that one of the biggest reasons why ghosting exists, I believe, in this day and age, is because of technology. Is that we're doing so many things over social media. We're doing so many things, on our phones, through texting, whatever. That really causes a disconnect. So I would say another thing you want to do is, when you start getting to know someone, minimize that. I don't believe that I should be engaging someone over social media all the time. If that were me, and I wasn't with my husband, and I were to go on to date someone else, that's a no-no for me. I'll initially get to maybe know you or start conversation there, but after that needs to come off of social media or offline, or really quickly, and we need to start engaging in phone conversation and getting to know you that way, unless we're just quickly scheduling something to meet or whatever. So electronics and all that, that's not, my electronics are not me, so I want that person to be more engaged with me. The only way they're going to really get to know me is when they take the time to get to know me, right? And that means physically and real, right? Not through technology. So I would say that is a great way to minimize it as well. So anyway, I was mentioning 3 other points that you can do after date. So once you've gone out with a gentleman and you are trying to maybe see where things go after, I say number 1, give him space. Do not force anyone to get to know you. So you want to send him a text message, that's fine. Hey, the date was great. Hope it was great for you too. See what he does. Don't be the one to keep on pursuing. Allow him the space. You can let him know that you had a good time, if you did, and then leave it at that. Now, if you're not hearing anything in return, then he's already ghosted you. Not much you can do. But if he does, don't keep on being the one to actively go after him, because eventually, if he just gets tired because he doesn't like how you're behaving or whatever, then he's going to ghost you anyway, right? A man has to have some form of interest in you for these to work anyway, right? And if they don't, then you can't save it. But if he does, a guy can like you and still be very turned off by your behavior, right? And it's not that, again, you're at fault, but I'm just letting you know some of the things that don't do these things, so that these don't end up being part of the issue. Right? So like I had mentioned before, point number 2, I kind of got into it a little bit. Don't keep on reaching out. You send him a text in the morning, good morning. You don't hear from him today? Oh well. Tomorrow? Oh well. The next day? Oh well. Do not keep on, he got your text. Assume he got your text. And even if you assume the worst and he didn't get your text, if he likes you, he's going to reach out to you and connect with you anyway. So if he didn't get your text, technology sometimes, slips up. Oh well, right? If he likes you, he'll make his way to you anyway. And number 3, what I would say, and even this I would even say on a date, be a little bit more mysterious. Do not tell him your whole life story, right? I refer to this as a mental aphrodisiac. When they want to know more about you, when they have interest and they want to know more about you, they're going to make the effort to know more. If you give too much too soon, some men get bored and they don't really, they're just like, why did she tell me her whole life story? And you may think it was cool to tell him, but maybe for him, he thought, I didn't care to know that. Or verbal diarrhea, right? You say too much and then you don't know what you said that turned him off. And not that I think a woman should sit down and worry about everything that she says, but again, the way I see it is, if I don't know you and you're a stranger, why am I even telling you that much about my life? I don't think it's necessary. Keep it light, keep it simple. Maybe just talk about just life, the weather, maybe some business news, little things like that. But you don't need to get into your life story and how this happened to you when you were a kid, and your mom and your dad are now divorced, and you want to keep it very light. The heavier it is, sooner, I know for me, the more turned off I'm going to get. And I hear a lot of men say that. They don't want, they're just trying to get her to know her as a person. So don't go into all those minute details that can eventually run him off. You want to keep things light, you want to keep things simple, you want to keep things airy. And the goal is for him to, hang around. So if you're single, you're ready for love, and you're done with the games, number one, even before any other thing I mentioned, don't play games yourself, because we should not expect from people what we are not willing to give. And listen, I've been guilty of some things in my life, and I'm definitely far from perfect. But these are lessons that I have learned, and I would say, whatever it is that you expect from another person, be willing to give it. And if you're not willing to give it, do not expect it. So that's the first one. And like I said, just to reiterate my points again, is that, before a date or in preparing for a date, you plan and prepare for dates before they happen. Know what you want, go out there with intention, and look for the things that, or pay attention to the things that you're looking for. So just remember again, number one, when you're on that date, you want to be warm. Number two, you want to act as though you're interested, get to know him. Again, if you're not, then whatever, right? And number three, you want to be open. Show him that you're easy, you're chill, you're an easy person to deal with, easy to talk to, because as much as, like I said, we're looking for things, men are looking for things too. And then the three things to do after the date is, after the date, give him space. If you want to let him know that you had a good time, that's okay. Leave it at that. Don't go into too much, this, that, and the other, and then start chasing him. Don't do that. Number two, show that you have a life. Don't keep on reaching out. Live your life, do your thing. If he has interest in you, he will continue. He'll let you know, right? Just as much as you can do it, he can do it too. And number three, be mysterious. And like I said, you can do that on the date as well. Don't say too much too soon. Let him get to know you gradually. Part of the attraction is getting to know you. What don't I know about her? But if he's starting to hear the bad things or the things that he doesn't like to hear too soon, that can be a turn off. So I want you to keep these things in mind as you go out there, as you're meeting men. Just as, a lot of times, I hear women say, oh, he could have just told me the truth. I can handle the truth. I was watching an episode of Steve Harvey a little while ago. And this woman stood up and she said, Steve, I have a question for you. Why do men lie so much? Right? Why do you lie so much? And he says, because a lot of y'all can't handle the truth. If we tell you, do you look fat? If you ask us, do you look fat? And we tell you, yeah, you look fat, you're not going to try to hear that. So their point of view is that a lot of times we don't want to hear it, right? So, when I'm neither here nor there, I'm not a man, so I don't speak from the male perspective. That's why on Wednesday night, I do Customize Your Love Life, where I bring in that male perspective. So feel free to go over to the Relationship Builder page and hear what my husband has to say on ghosting, on other topics. But the objective is that, as women, we have to stand in and do what's right for us, and they're going to ultimately do what's right for them. But the goal here for me is to see women succeed in the area of love. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to send me a private message, connect with me. I'm always here to answer your questions. And love isn't easy, but it's very, very possible you can have the love you want. I definitely believe in that. I was the person who was single by myself for a lot of years. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So ladies, have yourself a great day, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.